Hey, what's going on, everybody? Kind of wanted to come to you today and show you a little bit about replacing your alternator on your second generation CTS-V. This one in particular is a 2011, but should be the same for all second generations. At the end of this video, you'll hear me say I'm going to do another intro. Well, this is the intro. I just got done putting everything back together. This is the old alternator right there. When they say it's all downhill from here, putting everything back together was a snap. Getting everything taken apart was also pretty easy until it comes to taking off your alternator, in my opinion. You'll see it as you kind of go through the video. Hopefully this video isn't too long, but the main thing I ran into was actually when you take off the alternator, your AC line kind of runs down in front of this joker. You have a long stud that's going through one of these mounting holes, and so you have to pull the alternator off the stud. Well, it's kind of hard to pull it with the AC line being in front of it. I had to kind of pull and pry and honestly really put some weight on that line to get it out the way. I eventually did, but that's really the only kind of hang up I had, and really the worst part of it all. But as you can see, once you get it out there, it's fine. Once you get it out, pop a new one in. It was a breeze. So anyway, hope you enjoy, and yeah, let's get into it. From what I've read online, of course you have to take off your intake. I have air raid, but of course if you have whatever else, and even if it's stock, you'll just be taking off your intake. They also said loosen up your power steering. You don't have to take it all the way off, but we'll see. And down below is your alternator, and I believe we have to take that pulley off. I don't know, like right there, have to take that pulley off before we take the alternator out. So it should be pretty easy, and hey, let's get into it. Alright, like I said, coming back, we're going to take off the intake first. At least, and this is for me because I have an air raid, but even with the stock air box, you'll have to take off this clip. Just kind of push in this, and same thing is on the back. Push it in and pull it off. Of course, your mass airflow sensor, take that off. And next, just kind of start pulling off your intake. So you should have something holding it on here to the throttle body, and of course, like on mine, I have that right here that I also have to take off, and I should be able to pull this whole thing out, which will then really kind of expose everything up under there. So I'll be right back. Alright, back for a quick second. Of course, I guess things for me don't always go as smooth, so I ended up having to kind of take apart my intake in order to get enough room to pull this out. Of course, for yourself, it might not be like that, but hey, in case you do, you might have to take apart the whole intake. But anyway, finally got this pulled out, and as you can see, there's your alternator. So of course the next part will be taking off the belt, which is the belt temperature right there. So I guess before you do that, kind of try to get a good look at how the belt is routed. But to be honest with you, I think the actual I was wrong on that, I believe. But I think this is going to be the belt tensioner for the belt that is going across the alternator. You have two belts on here. You have one up front, which is what I just pointed to right here. That is going to the supercharger. So you have another serpentine behind it, and I'm thinking this is the tensioner for that, but I will confirm with you and let you know. Alright, I did confirm this is the tensioner for what you need. I'm going to be doing this, kind of going towards the snout of the supercharger, and you should see the belt loosen up. So once you kind of get that leverage off, I can't do it with one hand, but I'll be taking the belt off. But what I was going to say is, before you do take it off, kind of have a mental note or picture or whatever you want to do of the way it's routed. So make sure you do that before you do take it off, but it seems pretty simple. So alright, we'll be back with the next part. Alright everybody, I'm back. I'm not gonna lie, this next part was kind of tedious for me. Kind of find how to get this power steering pump off. But basically, of course, after you got your belt removed, I removed 6 bolts. Well, actually 7, but I'll kind of show you the process. So behind this pulley, once it's free, once you get the belt off, there are 3 bolts. You can see a bolt hold right there. There is one up top right there. So 1, and you can kind of move this around to see them. 2, and there is 1 all the way at the bottom. So there are 3 bolts behind this pulley. What that does, you can kind of move it around at that point. There is also a bolt that was on the alternator that I had to remove right here, and it's holding on the power steering line, one of the lines. So you remove that to also kind of get this whole piece free. So after that, and this is before I take off anything else, so after that there is another bolt behind here. And of course I can move this now since I've taken it off the block, but at first it is kind of tight. So once you kind of remove that first one, and I got the second one out as far as I could, but it started hitting the valve cover. But once I did that, this was really, really loose, which allowed me to get 3 bolts that are holding this whole bracket to the block. So there's one right here, there's one right there that I'm pointing to, and there is one all the way under the pulley. I think you can kind of see it right there. So I just removed all 3 of those, and it's pumped. I can now kind of move it out the way, which gives me even more room to get to the alternator. So basically, you're kind of removing the 3 that are behind this first. Remove the, like I said, the bolt that was holding on this line to the alternator. I took the first bolt out behind the reservoir, which allowed everything to get loose. It basically allowed this pulley to get so kind of loose that I could get to this bolt, because before it was loose I wouldn't be able to get to it. So I loosened it up, and then I was able to get all 3 off, and now I can kind of pull this to the side. So hey, on to the next part. Alright, so getting down to the alternator, it seems like we will be pulling this bolt, and it's kind of dark, this one, which seems like it's holding on or being held onto a line. But we got those two, and then one back here. So it seems like there's three. But of course, if something changes, I will point it out to you. All right, let's get to it. All right, everybody, a quick update. To be honest, it's been kind of rough since the last time you saw me. So I do have the alternator off. What I ended up doing was I had to loosen up this idler bracket. There was an idler pulley right here that I took off to give me some more room. Pretty easy. After that, you have two bolts that were holding the block, I guess bracket to the block. After that, everything's loose. The alternator was held on by, of course, the two bolts. I pointed to one right here, and there was one in the back. This is what I'm running into right now. This long bolt you see kind of right in front of you, right here, is hitting the AC line. What I ended up doing was I unbolted this to kind of give me a little bit of wiggle room, which kind of helped because I'm trying to move this forward because everything keeps hitting this bracket right here with this blue on it. Everything from the alternator, because the alternator has to slide off this bolt, just like this power steering bracket is still on it, which I don't think I'm going to have to take it off all the way. But of course, the alternator, this bolt is going through it, and as you can even see, the pulley is now kind of up under it. This line has been hell. I'm just gonna say it like that. Maybe there's an easier way to do it, I don't know, but that is what I've been running into, just trying to move this out the way. So of course I have the alternator free right now. I have already unplugged, I don't know if you can see it, I unplugged this out the back, and now I need to take off the positive lead coming from the battery. So hopefully once I get this off, I'll be able to kind of move this out the way and pull this out the hole. It's what I'm hoping, but it's been a trying time. So once I get that positive off the back of the alternator, we'll see what happens. If not, I guess I have to get the idler pulley assembly all the way off. I'm not sure, but I'll let you know. Alright, everybody, back on once again. I literally just pulled the alternator out. I'm gonna do a whole nother intro for this, but like I planned to mention in the intro, getting that alternator out was the hardest part of this whole ordeal. Thanks to this guy right here. I mean, literally, like it's resting against the bolt right now, but getting the alternator past that, of course, loosening up this helped a lot. Also, for me, getting the positive off the back of the alternator was kind of a bear itself also. But once I was able to, of course, get the alternator past that bolt right there, past this AC line, and get the positive wire off the back, which it was pretty snug, I was able to kind of pull the alternator out, and there it is. So hopefully this isn't a very long video. At this point, drop everything in, of course work backwards, and you should be good to go. I'm not going to show all that, but that's what I plan on doing. I already got the new one, and drop her in, and just work my way backwards, and yeah, that'll be it. So, um, hey, if anybody had a more simpler way, please upload a video or get online and show it. I looked and looked. I didn't see any videos, and even I guess on the forums, everybody is saying it was an easy job. Only took 45 minutes. Yada yada yada. Only need to remove, this, that, and that. So of course I'm probably adding some extra steps, and it's taking me longer than 45 minutes. So uh, appreciate you watching, and hopefully this helps somebody. But if you've gotten to this point, then you know what you need to do to put your new alternator on. So all right, peace out. Good luck.